It's now officially a divided house in the Rivers State Legislature after 27 of the 32 lawmakers defect to the All Progressives Congress from the People's Democratic Party, as some APC and SDP members also moved to the PDP. President Bola Tinubu condoles with the people of Tudumbiri village in Kaduna State who were killed in an accidental airstrike as he visits Borno State. Hello and welcome to Politics Today on Channels Television, reaching you live from our Lagos studios. I'm Jeffrey Uzoma, sitting in for Sheon Kimbaloye, your regular host. There's a lot happening in the world of politics in Nigeria, and everywhere you turn, you will find something going on. But some are louder than the others, and our responsibility is to bring all of them in focus, especially what's going on in Rivers State. But first, let's begin the tracking of the polity from Maiduguri in Borno State, where President Bola Tinubu is still condoling with the people of Tudumbiri village in Kaduna State following the killing of over 85 persons in an accidental army strike. He prayed that God will comfort them in this very moment of tragedy. President Tinubu was speaking at the palace of the Sheikh of Borno, Alhaji Abubakar Al-Kanami, and also pledged that the federal government will continue to do all within its powers to provide support and care to the families of all persons affected by the remnants of insecurity in parts of Borno State and the country. He declared that under his watch, security issues will remain a top priority, but not limited only to the battlefield. Meanwhile, as part of his first official visit to Borno State since he became president, he flagged off electric power vehicles manufactured to address challenges of hole in transportation or transport fare caused by the removal of fuel subsidy. Now, what is the crisis in the states? That's in the Rivers State House of Assembly. The State Executive Council has approved a budget proposal of 800 billion naira for the 2024 fiscal year. The Commissioner for Information, Joe Johnson, who spoke alongside the Secretary to the government or the state government after the council meeting, explained that the proposal was debated together with the medium-term expenditure framework as presented by the Commissioner for Finance. The Commissioner listed infrastructure, education, health, and security as areas with the highest budgetary votes. The Secretary to the State Government, Mr. Tami Danagogo, on his part said the details of the projects were thoroughly discussed before arriving at all the estimates. He adds that the budget proposal, they tagged it Budget of Renewed Hope, Consolidation and Continuity, is aimed at giving a new hope to the people and consolidation or consolidate on the gains of the state, especially in infrastructure and human capital development. Now, with what's going on in Rivers State, the National People's Democratic Party, they've been speaking. They're asking the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, to, in their words, immediately commence the process of conducting fresh elections into the 27 state constituencies in Rivers State, which have become vacant by reason of defection of the 27 former state lawmakers. Those are their words in the Rivers State House of Assembly, who have now moved to the All Progressives Congress. In a statement by the PDP National Publicity Secretary, Debo Elegbodgunga, explains that by this defection, the political party platform on which they were elected into the Rivers State House of Assembly, that's the seats of the respective 27 lawmakers, have become vacant by virtue of the provision of Section 109, subsection 1G of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended. They demand that INEC should, within the stipulated period under the Constitution of the Federal Republic, conduct fresh polls to fill all of this vacancy, and cautioned all of their words former lawmakers, that's how they refer to them now, they should stop parading themselves as members of the Rivers State House of Assembly, as such will amount to what they consider impersonation with serious criminal consequences. Now, before we get into our main conversation, we want to take a look at other things that are happening around the country as far as politics is concerned. Let's take a look at all your political roundup stories.
Members of the Northern Caucus of the House of Representatives have condemned in the strongest terms the recent regrettable incident that occurred at the Tudumbiri community of Igabi local government area, Kaduna State. The visit is aimed at securing first-hand insights of what actually transpired and enable it to garner useful information with a view to forestalling future occurrences. It has pledged to follow up with the federal government to ensure appropriate compensation for the victims and the community as promised, as they say they are poised to provide the legal framework for the compensation and also ensure that families of those who were killed are adequately captured in the scheme. The caucus further announced a cash donation of Mr. Speaker and that of the Northern Regional Caucus and the Federal House of Representatives, amounting to 45 million naira. 27 out of 32 members of the Rivers State House of Assembly on the platform of the People's Democratic Party have decamped to the ruling All Progressives Congress. The lawmakers are those under the leadership of the Martin Amewule and are believed to be loyal to the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike. Speaking to Channels Television, one of the lawmakers says the notice of defection was announced at an early morning sitting. He said they decided to join the APC because they voted for President Bola Tinubu. And leading the defectors from the Social Democratic Party and the All Progressives Congress are the deputy governorship candidate of the SDP in the 2023 election, Patricia Agbonaya, and former Ahoda West CTC, that is Caretaker Committee Chairman, Kariba Wilson. They're accompanied by their supporters and other party ESCO to the camp. In Kogi State, the ruling All Progressives Congress is asking members who worked against the party during the November 11, 2023 governorship election to brace up for sanctions. Chairman of the party, Mr. Abdullahi Bello, said this in Lokoja, the Kogi State capital, while inaugurating a review committee aimed at scrutinizing the conduct of members during and after the election.
Welcome back, and those were your political round of stories. Now, there's a lot going on. Now, barely 7 months into the life of the administration of Governor Siminalayi Fubara of Rivers State, the political music has apparently changed to a war song with major alignments and grandstanding, if you will. Rivers politics apparently is not for the faint-hearted, as you may have seen or read. 27 of the 32 lawmakers in the State Assembly loyal to the Minister of the FCT, Nyesom Wike, have officially defected to the APC. And now there's a lot of back and forth as to who stands where, and everybody's wondering, where does the state go from here? That's going to be the focus of our conversation, and I'm being joined on the program right now by the member of the Rivers State House of Assembly, Mr. Enemi Alaba George. Mr. Alaba George, thank you so much for joining us on the program.
Thank you for having me.
I understand we also have Mr. Tony Okocha, I think the chairman of the APC Caretaker Committee in Rivers State. Thank you so much, Mr. Okocha, for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Well, Rivers is in the news again. So let me begin with you, Mr. Enemi George Alaba. As we've heard, we heard from Mr. Martin Amewule. I'm sure at some point on the program we're going to play that track when he was reading out his defection. It leads the 27 members that are now in the APC. He cited division within the PDP with reference to who is the national secretary of the party as why he's defecting. And I understand that you also said that after all, you voted for the president, so it's only natural that you defect. So the reasons between what you said and what he's saying appear not to be aligning, and appears like the group is grasping at straws as to why the defection. So put it on record, why this defection?
Okay, I don't know where you got that information from. Can you hear me? Hello?
Mr. Enemi, if you can hear me, I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, so when I granted my earlier interview, I had said that we have a division in the People's Democratic Party. The Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, as altered, allows us to leave our party if there's division. As I speak to you, there is strong division in the PDP. At my last count, we have a case in Abuja, in the High Court, in the Federal High Court in FCT, another court in Lagos, as concerning the secretaryship of our party. I spoke to pressmen earlier, and I told them that a few weeks ago, we desperately tried to reach the secretariat of our party. And we could not. As I speak to you, I can't tell you who is the secretary of my party. That's the most functional office of any political party. If I can't even have correspondence with my party, then what am I talking about? We've been in the eye of the storm for a few weeks now, and then there's no communication from my party at the national level. What kind of party is that? Rivers State has been in the news. The House of Assembly has been grappling. We've been bullied. We've been suppressed and repressed. Our chambers was burnt down. Our members have been intimidated. The official residence of Mr. Speaker was brutally attacked by hired thugs. As I speak to you, there's no communication from the party that I call my party. And so 27 members came together and we said to ourselves that no, we cannot continue like this. And then the Constitution in Section 109 allows us to move to another party if we feel that there's a division in our party. If we can't even tell who the secretary of our party is, then what are we still doing in PDP? And then I now qualified that. And I said to you that there's no issue about us moving to the APC. If we found Mr. President worthy of our votes, we all mobilized in mass, and we voted for Mr. President. Before elections, we keyed into the Renewed Hope agenda. So now that Mr. President is president, we have to work with him. We can't send him into the eye of the storm and then we abandon him there. So everything collocates, everything works together. Now we have decided to join the APC. If we found Mr. President worthy enough to be voted for, we have found him worthy enough to work with him. We want to write our names in history. Mr. President is making so much effort to transform our fortunes. We've keyed into the Renewed Hope agenda so that when the story of the successes of Mr. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is written, we want to be written as those who join him to change the fortunes of our country. And so we have taken our decisions. We have left the PDP. We have moved to the APC. What's important is the fortunes and democratic dividends for Nigerians. What's important is what dividend I can bring to my constituents. Since Mr. President became president in an unprecedented manner, Rivers State has benefited. Look at how many federal appointments that we have gotten for a president that is in another party. My concern should be, what do I bring home for my constituents? What cauldron can I cook from?
Mr. George, if you can hear me. Yeah, Mr. George, if you can hear me, I understand that everybody knows that the crisis in the People's Democratic Party, as far as the national level is concerned, predates even the election, when there was a fallout between the FCT minister and his team and the presidential candidate of the party. So what you're talking about predates even the 2023 presidential election until now. So the question would naturally be, why this defection at this particular time? Why?
Well, everything has its own time. Even the Bible says it, that there's time for everything. Politics is about interest. And for me,
Mr. Enemi, if you can...
What's most important to me.
Please, go ahead. We didn't hear what you said. I suppose communication problem, connection problem there. Can you just say what you said in response to my questions?
Now, I said to you that politics is about interest. The collective interest of my people and my own interest. What's important for me is what cauldron can I scoop from for the benefit of my people? And that's what I'm doing. I believe that what we're doing is in the interest of Rivers people. What will benefit Rivers State? Mr. President has been president for a few months. And look at the benefits that has accrued to Rivers State already. Look at how many appointments that Rivers State has gotten. It is unprecedented. And so I said earlier that if we found Mr. President worthy enough of our votes, then we should join hands with him on the Renewed Hope agenda and work with him so that Rivers State can benefit from the dividends of democracy under Mr. President, as well as Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
So, Mr. George, did you consult, 27 of you now, you're speaking on their behalf here, did you consult with your constituent who gave you the mandate of representation before you made this move?
Our constituents are the ones that voted for us. We could never have made this. This has been burdened for quite a while. We could never have made this move without the express approval of our constituents. So I can say to you that, yes, we consulted with our constituents before embarking on this mission. And our constituents are very happy. My phones have been ringing off the hook back to back. People are excited that for the first time, Rivers State will play from the mainstream at the federal level. And they've seen the signs already that the decisions that we took are not wrong. And our decisions are very, very, very constitutional. It is clear that there's a division in the PDP. And that division cannot guarantee the interests of my people anymore. And so I and my colleagues decided that if we were elected to scoop from a cauldron of benefits for our people, to bring the dividends of democracy to our people, then the right decision is to go in the direction where there's light, where my people can actually extract benefits. So that is what we have done.
Mr. George, just before I bring in Mr. Okocha, to the benefit of our viewers and everybody, we did make frantic effort to bring the other side of the divide. I mean, people from the People's Democratic Party to join in this conversation, but apparently they are unavailable, and probably by tomorrow they will come and respond to what is going on in the state, although the national body has responded, as you saw initially in the program, where they released a press statement demanding for fresh elections in the constituents where these 27 members defected from. So I wanted to put that on the record that there were frank, sincere efforts and very strong efforts to bring them so that we'll have a balanced conversation. But apparently they are unavailable to speak at the moment. We'll continue to do that. If they come along as the program continues, all good and fine, we'll talk to them, else it may be tomorrow. So before I come to you, Mr. Okocha, let me, one more question for you before I go to Mr. Okocha and Mr. George. Of course, you've already said be praising the president. For the records, this is not the first time that Rivers State is aligning at the center. In fact, the only time they didn't align at the center was under the leadership of former President Muhammadu Buhari and then now President Bola Tinubu. For the 16 years, Rivers has always been PDP. So the question of alignment for the first time, I think factually, we may have to check that out. But the question I want to ask you is quite simple, of course, that, look, for those who are looking at Rivers politics, this is clearly a feud for them between the former governor, who is now the FCT minister, and the current governor, Governor Siminalayi Fubara. And people believe that this is clearly targeted at impeaching the governor. For those who have that opinion, how would you respond? Mr. George, are you there?
Oh, yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah, did you get my question?
Okay. Yeah, no, I got a question, and this is my response to you. I think it's a bit insulting to the collective sensibilities of the 27 members of the House of Assembly, and I think to the personality of the Minister of FCT. These are 27 members, democratically elected adult citizens of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, who have minds of their own. The FCT minister is still a member of PDP. And we took our decisions on our own. We came together and we said, no, this is not working for us anymore. Let's go where there's hope and light for us. So everything cannot be reduced to the governor and no. I want you to isolate issues and look at this decision from the perspective of the 27 individual members of the Rivers House of Assembly. Adults who have minds of their own, who grew into political office because they were chosen by their people. We cannot all the time reduce issues to levels that we should not. So my response to you is that members of the House of Assembly came together and then we agreed. Is it not shocking to you that all 27 members, including the Speaker, just woke up and decided to take this decision? I told you that it has been burdened. And I told you that we have a party at the national level. Look at you. You're a journalist. You're a media person. You're concerned about the issues in Rivers State. You have just said that. And I'm telling you that my party has never for one day even asked us what is going on. What does that say to you? What impression does that give to you?
So, Mr. Judge, so to put this straight, because these are things that people are saying, are you saying emphatically that none of the players, when I mean players now, the governor and his predecessor. This has nothing to, what your decision has nothing to do with their feud. Is that what you're saying on live television?
What I'm telling you is that
it's a straight question, Mr. George. It's a straight question.
A decision. Look. Let me tell you. There's a cocktail. Do you understand? There are political issues, and then there are issues at the level of the legislature, and then there are personal interests and collective interests of the members of the House of Assembly. I told you right here that the chamber, the temple of democracy, was burnt down. And our party never even made a statement. Our governor is not even interested. Do you understand? So I want you to isolate issues now. If it's time for us to talk about feuds and this and that, it's a different issue. I want you to amplify issues the way that they should be. I'm telling you that my life was threatened. Mr. Speaker's residence was brutally attacked by hired thugs. I'm telling you that the hallowed chambers of the River State House of Assembly, in an unprecedented manner, was burnt down. And my party at the national level did nothing. As I speak to you, if it were you, if you were a member of the House of Assembly, if you had walked into the hallowed chambers and seen how everything suddenly turned into ashes, what would be your response? How safe would you feel? How guaranteed will your political expressions be? What future do your constituents have?
All right, Mr. Judge, I have a lot of questions for you, but I understand that a chieftain of the People's Democratic Party has now joined us. I did mention that we've been following up to get their part of the story. Mr. Sarah Egbe has joined us virtually. Mr. Sarah Egbe, thank you so much for joining us on the program. Mr. Egbe? All right, while we're trying to make that connection, Mr. Egbe, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining us on the program. We've been waiting for your side of the divide to come make sense of what's going on in Rivers State. So we really appreciate you coming on the program. So quickly, I've been speaking to a lawmaker who was part of those who defected, and he's given his reasons. He's absolving the FCT minister. In fact, the feud between FCT minister and his successor from all of this crisis. I'm still asking him some questions. So let me ask you, what do you make of what's going on in Rivers State from your end?
Well, it is very obvious that the minister is not obeying the order of Mr. President for them to go and make peace. The governor, as much as possible, is trying to make peace, avoiding comments that will inflame the situation. But it's very obvious that the minister has been coming up with views, statements that are detrimental to peace. And the movement of these 27 members of the House to APC is a ploy to ensure that they go ahead with the impeachment process. But what they don't understand is they are members of the House, but the state itself is more concerned with the development that is going on in the state. And we don't want what will reactions that will cause more problem in the state. Rivers State is a very serious state in Nigeria with all the economic facilities around here. And therefore, if they don't understand the dynamics and they move ahead with this their impeachment plot, it means they're looking for anarchy or chaos in the state. And they may not care, but Rivers people are not happy with the ongoing in the event, because we believe that if Mr. President has intervened and the governor is complying with intervention, the minister should also comply with intervention and let there be peace. The governor has said it's a father and son relationship. They may have misunderstanding. And if that is not okay, the APC chairman has also come out to say they will do everything to coerce a PDP to take over power in Rivers State. That is not a problem, but it should be in a clear contest, not in this way of coercing the state into what they want to be. So we think that we need peace in Rivers State. Every Rivers man wants peace, and that BK himself brought this governor and it should allow the governor to rule. Let us see how it will go ahead. Not to coerce him or not to threaten him with impeachment and do things that will not augur well for the state.
All right, Mr. Egbe, thank you so much. Well, we'll come back to you just a moment. I did introduce Mr. Tony Okocha earlier. I haven't spoken with him. Mr. Tony, are you still there, sir?
Yes, I'm here. I'm waiting for you.
Yes, I just want to make. I just want you to make your own input as to what is going on in Rivers State. You know, when your caretaker chairman, when you were inaugurated as caretaker chairman with your team, there were divisions in the party. By division, I mean the ESCO that were dissolved, and they were quite unhappy about the decision of the national body, and it's been one issue or the other. Now the 27 members from the PDP have decided to join you, and of course they say they rely on Section 109 of the Constitution, which allows them to move if there is a division. So are they coming into a divided house, a united house? How would you respond?
Well, APC in Rivers State is not divided. I'm not unaware of the fact that a very infinitesimal few persons are feeling a bit disgruntled, particularly those who thought that it was their birthright to remain in service of a party, even when they have become so indolent and they are no longer contributing to the party. So it's not unusual that some persons would think that they are taking food, in quotes, from their mouth. It's not unusual. But the truth of the matter is that the preponderance of APC members in Rivers State are happy that there is this change of baton. And the change of baton is for good, because we are going to have a party that will build on, collective, the spirit of collective, not the spirit of an individual or any individual spirits and caprices. So party members are very happy because, again, we have started well. Look at it, look at what has happened. It is out of our advocacy to our brothers in the PDP. The truth of the matter is that PDP, has grown, is a contradiction that has grown to a rupture stage. And nothing remains other than that it must explode. That is what is happening in PDP today. Since morning that this news wafted into my ears, and I've been celebrating the back and forth of social media and in fact the media, I've been dancing with my two handkerchiefs in my hands. Because again, that is what is allowable. And they have also relied on the Constitution, Section 109, paragraph 1, sub G, allows that a member or members of an assembly can defect from their party to another party insofar as they are able to establish the fact that there are irreconcilable crises. And my brother who spoke there earlier on has said to you that APC in Nigeria is in tatters, and it's worse in Rivers State, a situation where you have the PDP rather, a situation where you have two speakers of House of Assembly under one setting. You also know that there is problem, so there's crisis. And the situation where you have four assembly members, lording over 27, becoming a case of 16 above 19 that we used to know, sometime in our political history. So I have been dancing. And I think that the assembly members who are defected to the party have done so very well. They have done so very well because we need to save our democracy. There is no governance in Rivers State as we speak. Everything has nosedived. The continuity and consolidation which the governor rose, the plank upon which the governor rose to office in Rivers State has taken a backseat. PDP and governance in Rivers State are in ICU. And so there's hunger in Rivers State, there is inactivity in Rivers State, there is administrative ineptitude in Rivers State. So what do we do? What would Rivers people do? So we are here to provide a platform for them to come so that we are going to build a robust Rivers State under the auspices of the All Progressive Congress. Don't forget that the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, yes, the President of the Federal Republic, candidated under our political party, the APC. And we need to replicate what is happening at the center here in Rivers State, rather than what we see as unnecessary altercations, party wranglings and all that, taking the center stage over and above administration.
All right, Ms. Okocha, thank you for your input. Let me go back to Mr. George. A quick one, just before we go on this break. So, Mr. George, where does this leave the state in terms of governance? What do you see happening next in Rivers State?
My dear brother, if the tripartite arms of government are allowed to function independently as they should, without bullying and suppression and repression, we do not have any problem. I always say that we have horizontal separation of powers, which makes all three arms of government equal. The judiciary, the legislature, the executive, if you look at Section 4 of the Constitution, 1999, as altered, Section 5 and Section 6, you see that all three arms are equal. What is happening is that one arm is trying to bully the other arm into submission. Party or no party, if the interest of Rivers State is at the fore, then we will not have issues. Whatever party that House of Assembly members are, if the legislature is allowed to function unfettered and unhindered the way they should. Recently, the funds for the management of the House of Assembly has been stopped by the executive. That is bullying. That is bullying the legislature into suppression, into repression, into servitude. If these issues, if government is run the way government should be run, then no arm of government should be bothered about what party the arm of government is. If we do things constitutionally, as enshrined in the Constitution, if we go according to the prescriptions of the Grundom, which is our Constitution, we will not have these issues. So what party I belong to as a legislature should not bother the judiciary or the executive.
Mr. George.
That's the point I'm trying to make. Yes, please.
My sincere apologies. I understand we're totally out of time. We need to run for a break. So I want to thank you, Mr. Enemi George Alabo, member of the Rivers State House of Assembly, is one of those that have defected, 27 members that have defected from the PDP now to the APC. We're also joined, unfortunately, I may not have time to take their last comment, the chairman caretaker committee of the Rivers State APC, Mr. Tony Okocha. Thank you so much, sir, for coming on the program. Also Mr. Anabs Saregbe, the chieftain of the PDP in Rivers State. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for coming on the program.
He's of the APC. It's not the PDP. He used to be of
the APC. I beg your pardon. Mr. Tony Okocha of the PDP.
He used to be very much against us. He worked against when the governor was running. So I'm surprised that he's
all right. There's a lot to talk about in Rivers State. Gentlemen, there's a lot to talk about governance issues and all of that. We'll continue to follow up on the Rivers politics. It's not for the faint-hearted. When we come back after this break, you're still on the program. We'll be talking to the National Chairman of the Human Rights Commission, Mr. Tony Ojukwu, on issues around human rights. We'll bring it as a conversation when we come back. Join us again. Welcome back. December the 10th is celebrated across the world as the International Human Rights Day. So that's going to be our focus on this last leg of the program. But don't forget, we're following what's going on in Rivers State. If it happens, anything happens any moment from now, we're going to bring it to you right here on the show. I'm being joined right now on the program by the chairman of the National Human Rights Commission, Mr. Tony Ojukwu. Mr. Tony Ojukwu, thank you so much for joining us on the program.
Thank you very much.
A good place to start, I guess, will be the incident that happened a few days ago in Tudumbiri village in Igabi local government area of Kaduna State. I don't know, what do you make of all of this, given what has happened? Yes, the army has repeatedly come to apologize about the airstrike, but 85 persons have gone to an early grave they did not bargain for. How would you respond to that vis-a-vis human rights?
Of course, the right to life is the most precious right, and their right to life has been timely taken away from them, and that's a grievous human rights violation. It should be accounted for, and compensation should be paid for the families and the survivors of those who are bereaved. This is a very, very sad moment for us, that while celebrating a week before celebrating International Human Rights Day, that this number of Nigerians will lose their life in this way. However, I believe the apologies have been made. However, that does not remove that investigations should be carried out. Investigations are important because of future reoccurrence, and also to bring succor to the families affected. There ought to be accountability for what has happened, and then there has to be compensation paid.
So to what extent do you expect the...
Well, it's not a matter of Human Rights Commission only. What Nigerians expect is that the loss of life is a very serious matter. That's the most precious right. And if there's loss of life, there has to be an investigation and there has to be accountability for it. And then there has to be compensation paid. The gesture of the National Assembly is commendable. However, at times we are fond of sweeping things under the carpet in this country. And that's why, the culture of accountability is very, very low. I think what will assuage Nigerians and what will also assuage the Commission is that there is accountability for what has happened and that the people affected are paid compensation. And there is a commitment that this kind of thing will not reoccur in future. It has happened so many times in the past.
So, Mr. Ojukwu, let me ask you, what progress do you think Nigeria has made in protecting and promoting human rights, in your view? You've been around this cause for quite a while, and your general assessment, since we're marking this day, how much has Nigeria done, maybe unknown to the public, to protect and promote human rights?
The country has done a lot in its effort to promote and protect human rights. Of course, I always want to look at my past before coming to the present. We are in a country for a long time under military rule, and people could not even voice out their right. But today, look at even this Kaduna issue. People are able to call government and say, government, you have to do this. There was a time in the past, everybody would have kept mum and nobody would have been able to say anything. If you say anything, probably you'll be arrested or molested or something like that. What I'm saying is that there are a lot of avenues like the Human Rights Commission now that you can lodge your complaint, and those complaints will be looked into. You can see that we now have a toll-free number, 6472. And this toll-free number, any Nigerian can call it from any part of this country, and the voice can be heard. Is increase in access to Nigerians to be able to lay their complaints. And of course, that has made it possible for more than 1 million Nigerians to lay their complaints at the footsteps of National Human Rights Commission. Like today, the Zaki followers came to my office and brought a letter of complaint insisting that their members have been killed in this way and that there must be accountability and compensation paid. And when conflicts like this arise, the only way to move forward is to do justice, to do the right thing by ensuring accountability and also assuaging those who are bereaved. The apology is excellent, it's commendable that the authorities have rendered the apology, but the apology does not remove accountability and compensation for the families affected. The real apology is in commitment to this not happening again. So these are some of the issues that have been brought up because we now have more rights to make demands, to ask questions, and everybody has condemned this. And this is one of the ways we now show our liberty, our exercise of our rights in this country. And this is commendable. I must say that it doesn't mean that there are no more violation of rights. Of course, there are still unlawful arrests every day. There are still torture in investigation. There are still discrimination for one reason or the other. Women's rights are still not being accorded where they should be. Women are not yet at the table where discussions and decisions should be made. Elections are far from being perfect in this country. But it's all work in progress. The important thing is that we're all committed, that there are a lot of people who are working day and night to make sure that we get it right. The aspect we need to work on is ability to give account for whatever decisions we take or things that happen, and the ability to hold people accountable for wrongs they have done. Just like the kind of thing we did during the SARS protest, where we had to make sure that any officers who have been involved in police brutality, who have been involved in unlawful killings, and so on and so forth, are held accountable and compensation was paid. That is the way forward, accountability for human rights violations.
Oh, okay, let me, before, I know you mentioned the number, I would like you to reel out that number because I may not have data to support what I'm about to say, but maybe if you go on the street and you do a vox pop and say, who has the Human Rights Commission toll-free number in case your human right is violated, do you know the number? I don't know how many Nigerians know that number. So if you could reel out that number again for the benefit of Nigerians in case they have trouble relating to human rights.
Yeah, the number is 6472. It's a toll-free number. It's a number that the Commission has in collaboration, 6472, 6472, which the National Communication Commission, in collaboration with the Spotlight Initiative and USIWA, was able to get this to help us assess Nigerians, also deal with issues of sexual and gender-based violence, which came up during the COVID period. So this is one of the initiatives the Commission and its partners, EU-UN Spotlight Initiative and USIWA and the National Communications Commission, will put this in place to make sure that no matter where Nigerians are, they're able to access the services of the Commission and get assistance quickly.
Let me find out from you, how much of work is being done by your commission to ensure that irrespective of whose ox is God, everybody is brought to book and accountable? Maybe give us some instances of exactly, because I know you mentioned a few things in passing and putting a few issues together in a stream of thoughts, but in terms of specifics, how do you ensure that human rights is respected by all parties? More like saying, how do we reposition, if you will, the Human Rights Commission, in your view, to become like a pressure group indeed for the people against anybody who violates their right, even if it's government that set up the commission?
Well, the Human Rights Commission, we embark in a lot of creation of awareness because we believe that the first step towards realizing your right is to even know your right is violated. Because if you don't know your right is violated, you probably keep quiet. You won't even seek any assistance. So that's what we are doing. We have established offices in the 36 states of the country. Right now, we are trying to partner with National Orientation Agency and Public Complaints Commission that have offices in all the local governments to see whether we can establish human rights desks in their offices that can be a collation point for violations by those who are not literate enough or ICT savvy to use telephones and things like that to dial on that toll-free number. Now, when we do that, we as many people as lodge these complaints, we try to process their complaints, and some of them, their complaints are not complex really. They're not difficult. There are things at times they need legal advice, for instance. They may need to be connected to where they can get assistance. For instance, people who are violated sexually may need medical assistance, and they can be referred to our network of service providers in all the states. There may be people who need legal advice. You refer them to service providers who provide legal advice. We have a network of all this in all the states. There may be people who need psychosocial support. You refer them to to people who can give them that kind of support.
All right, Mr. Ojukwu. Just two quick questions, and maybe I'll take it one after the other. For the people whom their rights have been violated, they're in detention, and for reasons best known to the state or whoever took them there, what is the Human Rights Commission doing to make sure that people that are behind bars are not meant to be there, whose rights are being violated, they are protected? What is being done? And then women, that's on the other hand, and children in terms of ensuring that they have a right to education. So I've asked you 3 questions in one: incarceration, gender-based issue, as well as access to education. If you can just wrap it up in about a minute.
For incarceration, of course, there are 2 levels of incarceration. The ones at the police before they are now charged to court, and then the court can also commit people to detention. For those in the police cells, we give them lawyers, and they go to court, and they go to the police station and make sure that they are not kept beyond the constitutional period of 48 hours. We do that every day. And then for those in court, those who don't have lawyers, we support them with lawyers, and also refer them to legal aid counsel that can help them to get the bail if those offenses are available offenses. And then for women, of course, every day we have complaints concerning sexual and gender-based violence or domestic violence. And we try to make sure that the parties are brought here, we mediate and see how we can help the woman. If it's a woman that needs shelter, for instance, she has been molested, she has been beaten in her home, she doesn't need to go back to that violator that night. We try to connect her to shelter where she can stay. Maybe if she was injured, we try to take her to the hospital to get some relief and get treated first. And then we now get the person who violated her and make sure that the person is now prosecuted by the police. And for children, in terms of their right to education, we liaise with the state governments to make sure that the children are out of the streets, they are taken to the schools.
Yes. My sincere apologies. It wasn't my intention to stop you at all, because we needed that information so that everybody will be on the same page. But unfortunately, we do not have any more time. I understand our time is up on the program. So thank you so much, Mr. Tony Ojukwu, Chairman, Human Rights Commission, as the world celebrates International Human Rights Day, which was actually yesterday. Thank you so much for coming on the program.
I'm actually the Executive Secretary, not the Chairman.
Oh, Executive Secretary. My sincere apologies. Executive Secretary of Human Rights Commission. Thank you so much, sir, for coming on the program.
Thank you very much.
All right. That will be it on the program for today. You know, we're tracking everything happening across Nigeria as far as politics is concerned. And that's it on this very edition. Thank you for your time and, of course, your usual company. I'm Jeffrey Uzongo. God bless Nigeria.